Namaskaram. My name is Vivekananda. Literally, it means wisdom and happiness. I believe in living a simple life. I believe in thinking differently. I am proud to share my belief with Steve Jobs and Leonardo da Vinci, who said, simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication. Through this YouTube channel, I aim to bring time tested wisdom and happiness together into your business and life by unifying, simplifying, amplifying technology, nature, and yoga. The name of my YouTube channel is Tech Nature Yoga. My hope is to bring clarity to people who are in the so called West and are looking for some guidance. Even if you're in a different part of the world, you might still find my effort worthwhile because much of today's world is, as it is called, westernized. I feel that it is my responsibility to share my understanding of karma, and I want to craft my destiny myself. Wouldn't you want to do it yourself? That is why I have started this series of YouTube videos. I want to understand the concept of karma properly and share it with as many people as possible. I find it particularly important because of the worldwide situation that we are presently living in. I hope to be useful in some way. My aim here is to facilitate discussion so that we all gain deeper understanding. What do I expect in return? Well, hopefully you will like and subscribe. The easiest way to contact me is through my website, wake-technology.com, where you will find multiple ways to reach me. Now it is time to introduce ourselves. Um, Please note that our audience may come across any episode of this series. Because of that, these introductions need to be repeated in every episode. Now, I have already introduced myself. So it's time for our guests. Today we have only one, Lovelan. So, Lovelan, over to you.
Well, greetings. This is LA, as my friends refer to me, speaking from Canada's West Coast on Vancouver Island. I came to this group because I'm inspired by Sadhguru's approach and because Vivek and I have mutually supported each other for quite a few years. I spent my whole career helping people decide what they should do first through career counseling and then through coaching for solopreneurs. Today, I'm enjoying my retirement through study and discovering how to support Canadian Indigenous people as we all move toward reconciliation. You can find my most recent website at arcticcarvings.com.
Okay, we have done our introductions. So let's watch the pre recorded video as I always have been doing. I video record my presentation in advance so that I cover exactly what I want to cover without wasting your time. As a note from myself, I was mentioning Shivaratri celebrations in a previous episode, and I was wondering if Sadhguru would mention Shiva in the book. Well, in this chapter, he does. when you appreciate his explanation, you would clearly see that Hinduism and science go hand in hand. So let's get to that part. Let me uh, start the pre-recorded video. Karma, a yogi's guide to crafting your destiny. Today, let us study chapter 5. Sadhguru gives several sutras. Sutra literally means thread. Each of these sutras hold a pearl or a gem, as it were. So we all would do well to make note of these. So here is Sutra 5. Let me read it out for you. Pure intelligence creates memory out of itself. The rest of the creation projects memory as intelligence. First section of the book is called The Intelligence Invents Memory. In the previous episode, we covered categories of consequence from being to doing to having, and the causes of unease and disease in detail. We understood that karma is a bit of a self-perpetuating carousel. So, this would raise questions such as, how did we get into this condition of servitude to a memory cycle we don't remember starting? What got it started in the first place? Sadhguru tells us a story, as usual. It happened on a certain day. A factory inspector in Russia went into a factory, picked out a particular worker and asked, if you had a shot of vodka, do you think you could still work? The worker scratched his head and said, I guess so. Then the inspector asked, if you had a double shot of vodka, could you still work? The worker thought about it and shrugged. I think I can, he said. The factory inspector persisted. And if you had 5 shots of vodka, could you still work? The worker replied, hey, aren't I here? That is karma. You have had 1,000,000 shots of vodka. Now, it is just your forefathers living through you, repeating the same old theater of life, with the same cues, the same triggers, the same reactions, over and over again. Where are you in all of this? You are as impaired by karma as one would be by 5 shots of vodka. In such a state, the more activity you are required to handle, the greater the suffering for you. Even if this activity brings financial and social success, there is suffering. Why? Because you are driving under the influence. What is the point of this repetition, you might ask? For the human being who seeks freedom, this is a natural question. If you want to become free of outside influence, if you don't want your long dead great grandfather or your mother to be pushing your buttons long after they are gone, you might wonder how to step out of the cycles. Which brings up the inevitable questions. Why karma? Who started this cycle? What is the origin of memory? What is its source? How did the whole drama begin? Now, let me take a few seconds to explain my call to action. I hope you found it useful so far, so I request you to like this video. Please subscribe to my channel at Tech Nature Yoga and hit the bell icon so that you can customize the notifications you get when I upload a new video. The many creation myths in the world have tried to address this question in a variety of ways. The yogic creation story is a scientific truth expressed in strikingly poetic imagery. It tells us that it all started with a realm of infinite emptiness. This is a dimension that has no memory at all. It is pure intelligence. It has no form, no shape, no size, no color. It is, in fact, no thing. Let me add some emphasis here. It is nothing, but notice the hyphen in the middle. It is not a thing. So, no thing. And yet, it exists. This is called Shiva, that which is not. It is the very basis of creation. Now, the very birth of form, even if it is a wave or just a particle, necessitates memory. You did not emerge from nothing. It is from the template of your parents that you are created. This means that memory or karma is a prerequisite for form. So, how did the first form happen? How did it materialize without memory? The yogic culture personifies a certain concept, infuses drama into it, and turns it into stories. The story mode enables it to speak of dimensions that are beyond the realm of logic. So, it personifies infinite emptiness. It turns Shiva, that which is not, into Shiva, the divine being, who is the source of all creation. And so the story begins. It happened. Shiva, the Lord of creation, was lying in his nascent state, devoid of any karma. Then an element of dynamism entered this emptiness. This was Shakti, the active aspect of emptiness. She approached Shiva and began to play with him. The human imagination sees the first karma as a sexual act. And so, as she aroused him, he woke with a great roar. He now assumed the form of a linga, a primal ellipsoidal form. This, the yogic lore tells us, was the first form in all creation. And with that sexual act, we are told, the whole of creation began. The primordial sexual act between Shiva and Shakti ignited the void into a dynamic state of creation, maintenance, and destruction. And thus, there emerged the grand theatre of the cosmos, time and space, name and form, birth and death. Gradually, form began to perpetuate more form. Memory began to spawn more memory. The karmic cycle was set into motion. Now, I am quoting directly from the book here. So, these are Sadhguru's words, not mine. He says, some physicists I have met agree that the Big Bang that began the universe could well have been a series of bangs. In an automobile, if you take off the manifold and start the engine, it would sound like a volley of bangs. But if you throttle up, the engine roars. So, a series of bangs in close succession does in fact become a roar. And so, the Big Bang of modern science and the big roar of the yogic lore are not so different. Physicists also say that the first form in creation was ellipsoidal, reinforcing the yogic perspective that has always seen the linga form as sacred. Those were words from the book. Now, for those of you who are wondering what this image is and so on, this image is from NASA and represents visualization of what the astrophysicists think how the Big Bang happened, etc. Not surprisingly, Shiva as a deity is considered to have no parentage, no ancestry, no past whatsoever. He is called Swayambhu, self-created. Here is a major difference between the source of creation and the rest of creation. The source of creation is pure intelligence that creates memory out of itself. The rest of creation projects memory as intelligence. Look at the utterly staggering diversity of creation, all made possible by the capacity of a primordial intelligence to create memory. Let me take a few seconds to explain my call to action again. I hope you will find it useful so far. So I request you to like this video. Please subscribe to my channel at Tech Nature Yoga and hit the bell icon so that you can customize the notifications you get when I upload a new video. We have now come to the next section of the book, and it is called The Authentic Intelligence versus Artificial Intelligence. In the world today, those with great memories are considered intelligent. They pass examinations with ease, often get the top grades, go on to get PhDs, and become scholars of repute. All this is quite simply because they remember what they study and are efficient at processing it. In the yogic traditions, it is only if you touch chitta, the dimension of intelligence, unsullied by even an iota of memory, that you are considered enlightened. Until then, you may be learned, you may be scholarly, you may know a great deal about creation, but you know nothing about the source of creation. You know nothing about the dimension of intelligence beyond the ambit of your personal karma. In the next couple of decades, this is a prediction by Sadhguru, in the next couple of decades, the upswing of artificial intelligence will radically change the way we look at the concept of intelligence. Our ideas of education will be fundamentally altered. If you are looking for tools of self-transformation, a memory-based educational system will be of little use. The intellect, which is based on memory, is a wonderful tool. However, it can only inform, it cannot transform. In an age of artificial intelligence, only those who are capable of exercising intelligence beyond memory will have something truly valuable to contribute. The fundamental difference between a human being and a machine is perception. Perception is something a machine will never possess. The machine will be capable of data accumulation, analysis, and action, all of which are functions of the intellect, but little else. We have now come to the next section of the book, and it is called, Is Karma a Dirty Word? We have looked at how karma began. Part 2 of this book will look at how it might end. But a crucial question we need to address is this: do we really want it to end? Is memory a burden? Is karma an obstacle? Is samsara a curse? Is life unmitigated suffering? Not in the least. Let me state this unequivocally. Karma is not a dirty word. Those are words from the book. Certain religious strains have, over time, begun to view the human being as inherently impure or soiled or sinful. They see human life as a curse rather than a blessing, a condition from which one needs to be cured or saved or rescued. While freedom is a laudable aspiration, let us never forget this fact. Karma is the basis of human life. Karma is what gives your physical form and psychological structure, solidity, and stability. It offers a foundation for your life. Without this foundation, there would be no possibility of transcendence. You, your body, and your mind are bound together only because of the karmic process. Without karma, neither your body nor your mind would exist. You, as you understand yourself, would not be around. So, karma is in fact a tremendous possibility. Karma is the glue that makes you stick to this body mind mechanism. If you washed away all your karma, you would exit your body this very instant. Your software is not the problem. It turns into a problem only if it becomes the ruling factor in your life. Karma is just your own creation. It is neither virtuous nor evil, good nor bad. It is because you are looking at it through the prism or prejudice of memory that something seems wonderful and something seems horrible. Karma is the basis of your individuality, but it is also the basis of your prejudice. I thank the viewers who have been watching. Since you have been watching so far, it means you are getting some value out of this video. So let me take this opportunity to request you to like this video. Please subscribe to my channel at Tech Nature Yoga and hit the bell icon so that you can customize the notifications you get when I upload a new video. The book Karma is available in multiple formats and multiple languages: English, Hindi, German, French, Spanish, Italian, Russian, etc. It is also available in multiple formats such as paperback or electronic books such as Kindle or audio form from Audible, where Sadhguru himself reads the book. You would find the links to these in the description of this video on YouTube. It's time for discussion now. So, in this chapter, we covered these three aspects. intelligence invents memory, authentic intelligence versus artificial intelligence, and is karma a dirty word? So let me paste this here. Yeah, what do you think, Lowland?
Well, after listening to that, I have read the chapter some time ago, but after listening to your presentation, um, a few ideas kind of came to my mind and a few questions.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I wondered if a person could interpret karma as your human inheritance is. In other words, what
Mm,
you I guess you as a human being, you bring in certain traits and aspects from both parents,
mm-hmm.
and from there, the intelligence is created. So I can see that we do inherit from our previous generations, etc.
Yes.
Um, and what we make of our life from there on in, to my mind, is very much influenced by the environment that we are exposed to.
Yes. I agree. We are influenced by the environment. We are the environment tries to control us in some ways, but as Sadhguru has been saying, it's since we are human beings, we have a certain say. We can change things. It's that's in a way that's what he exactly says. I mean, if you let your inheritance and your past and uh, what you got from your parents, your society, the uh, environment, etc., if you let that guide you, you will be or rather control you. um yeah, you will be going through the life as determined by external factors, and that would not be you would not feel fulfilled. You would feel everything is you would start feeling like a victim.
Yes, and I know that human beings have a choice as to whether to react to something or to live with it and move on.
Mm.
So yeah,
Some of it you won't be able to change, but
you
some of
can't
it.
change what has happened to you,
Mm.
but you do have a control over what you think about it
And how
and
you respond,
how you feel about it.
how you respond.
So
And
it's the difference between reaction and response,
mm,
and we do have a control between those two things.
yeah, in his talks, Sadhguru has been talking about uh, he's saying that he wants to move people from religion to responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Religion means something that is the society demands, what your ancestors did, your parents did, the environment surrounding you expects you to do. But you don't change anything. You just go by what uh, those things demand you to do. Then um, you'll follow the you'll be very religious.
Mm.
But he says that's not a very responsible way to live your
Well,
life. So
mhm. And if you use your intelligence to look at whatever happens rather than your emotions,
mm,
then um, you that gives you control over what how you're going to respond.
mm,
Mm. Something else that I found that jumped out for me is this whole concept of the various creation myths.
mm,
Christianity has a creation myth, the Adam and Eve story.
mhm.
Um,
In fact, he does talk about that in the chapter. I didn't bring it up
yeah,
because
yeah.
it makes it too much. But yeah, time
But
constraints. Yeah.
in my studies of indigenous cultures, they have creation stories as well.
Mm,
And it's very interesting to study those and to think about um, where that how that creation story arose. Um, when I lived in Canada's Arctic
mhm,
and became acquainted with the Inuit people, those are the people who live in the Arctic. Their creation story was the story about Sedna, which is an ocean creature.
mhm,
And I always found that quite interesting. And then when you look at the First Nations people that live further south, their creation story talks about a Turtle Island,
mm,
and all the things that they um, what fell on the shell of the turtle is what created the planet.
mm,
So that's really really interesting as well. Um, and when you hear First Nations people talking about their creation myth, it's always wound around the rest of nature. It's all
mm,
part of nature, plants
mm,
and animals and so forth. So
mm,
it's utterly fascinating to look at and try to understand all these different creation myths.
mm, mm.
So human beings have been trying to figure out figure out the answer. I'm not sure anybody's really got the answer yet.
Yeah, it's yeah. You mentioned the turtle, and even in Hinduism, I think that there is a video of where Sadhguru talks about. He actually mentions in that video when the when some parts of the world were thinking that Earth was flat and so on. Uh, in India, there are statues, there are figurines and art, etc., which shows Earth as a globe
Hmm.
rotating on top of back of a turtle.
Or a turtle. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Oh, yeah. So, I mean, when you look at all those creation myths, I guess it comes down to the human beings make use of metaphor to try to explain something that is very difficult to explain.
Mm.
Yeah. And then another thing jumped out at me when you were talking about perception.
Mm.
And I wondered if animals have perception.
Mm.
Animals react to certain things,
Mhm.
etc. So that's what jumped in into my brain. I wonder if animals have. I
I
mean, they have their own variety of perception, maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
I
that
think they
that
do, as in like um, a dog can feel if you are scared of it.
yes,
The dog can feel it,
yeah,
and it'll also feel the fear and will become defensive,
yeah,
which you might see as being it's going to attack me.
right,
The fear then multiplies, and so I see that. Yes, probably that is one way of explaining perception. The dog, how the dog.
yeah. How the dog reacts to his environment. Yeah, yeah. There's nothing simple about human beings in life, is there? Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm
the
left with the question of all of this,
mhm.
and that was what actually allows us to transform? What brings about transformation?
Oh, mm.
I have a feeling that's what we're going to talk about in part 2 of the book.
Yeah, I think yes, yes. It reminds me actually of a Star Trek, and this is the next generation Star Trek, not
Not
um,
the original one.
not the original one, the second one where Captain Picard and Data, Commander Data, and all that, uh, where they come across a being um, who is being persecuted by his own people. The whole planet is
Mhm.
trying to catch this being and persecute him. The reason is this being has evolved beyond the physical. Uh, and there is a story where the planet actually attacks the Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise, and all the people are kind of in mortal danger. They're almost dying, and this being actually gives them a cover, protects them, and so on, and then says, "This is what we are capable of." The being gives this message to the planet, which is trying to attack, saying, "This is what we are capable of. Why are you fearing this? This is what you should evolve into, not
Mhm.
becoming violent and all that." So yeah, I see possibly that's where we are headed. I don't know. Human
But
beings.
funny you should mention Star Trek. I've been watching the modern version of the original,
Oh. Hmm.
And the one I watched last night,
Mm-hmm.
the Enterprise got pulled into another vehicle,
Oh.
and that was run by human beings that had evolved into a non-body format.
Mm.
And the non-body format was taking over the bodies of all of the crew.
Mm.
That was fascinating. Yeah. So, and I mean, it was presented as they were human beings that had evolved.
Mm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Non-corporeal beings
yeah,
is what.
yeah. So, but your question about, is karma a dirty word?
Mm-hmm.
I guess in my own language, in my own thinking, in my own words about it, I just see karma as just being the compilation of who I am.
Mm. Yeah. That's what he says. In fact, if the he says that is the glue which binds you as a energy form or whatever to this mind and body combination.
Yeah.
It's the karma which binds these
Yeah.
three together.
Mhm.
If karma is washed away or dissolved or removed, then you cease to exist.
Yeah.
So, in that sense,
I'll be interested. He hasn't covered anything about what happens when you die yet. So,
yeah. In fact, he has written a whole book about on death.
oh, has he?
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know whether it is available in Canada or not. In fact, it was available here on Amazon, and then it was removed for whatever reason.
Oh,
And this happened very close to the pandemic becoming the big thing, just before pandemic.
oh.
So yeah, he has written a book. I have it. Let me
What's it called? Oh, what's the title of it?
see here.
Oh, it's just Death, an Inside Story. Let me see.
It's a book for all those who shall die.
Right. Right. It's in Amazon.ca.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
It is. Both through, and you can I see that in Amazon you can purchase a 3-book combination: Karma, Death, and I don't know what the other one is.
Mm.
Inner Engineering.
Mm.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Okay. The Inside Story for all those who shall die. Well, that will be an interesting place to move on to once we finish this book.
Yeah. As such, we have completed part 1 of the book.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I thought you had more questions.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Hmm.
The last one was what transforms. What and we're gonna cover that. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Last week we overran. This week we are finishing earlier. But yeah, it's the way things go.
Right on.
So we have come to the end of the episode today. Next week we shall discuss the next part of the book, part 2, and the first chapter in that. It is called Karma Yoga. So I think in this chapter he's going to talk about the how. How do we achieve so many things? So yeah, the path. Okay, so see you next week. Namaskaram to all my relations.
See you. Namaskaram to all my relations.